Good morning, everybody. Here we are in Panama at the Mercado de Mariscos seafood market. Huge, huge seafood market. Driving in, we saw the boats, the fishing boats, where they're catching the fish literally right here and bringing it in for the vendors to sell. So this is going to be exciting. We're going to be making octopus tacos. So we need an octopus. That's what we came here for, just to get our little octopus. So let's do it. That's the whole one.
Yeah. Péseme eso por exactly a pound.
Perfecto. We're getting a 1 pound octopus, $2.50. ¿A qué hora salen para pescar?
A cualquier hora. Eso no tiene hora. Cualquier hora que ellos quieran ir a pescar, ellos se van a pescar.
Todo el día.
Todo día.
I asked them what time they fish, and they start early, but it goes all day long, because apparently this stuff goes quick. So that was interesting. I thought they just did it in the morning very early, and then when it's gone, it's gone. But they're actually open till like 5 p.m. So, and with the demand being as high as it is, they're constantly coming in. This is like a 2-pounder, 2-pound lobster.
Damn.
This guy's big. He's still moving.
That's amazing.
Poke, 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 poke.
$21.
$21 for that monster. Oh, he's such a pretty blue. I don't know what the crabs cost, but they have, you name it. If it lives in the ocean, they seem to have it here. Refrigeration the old-fashioned way. A shitload of ice. Another really cool thing about this market, whatever they catch fresh, obviously you can buy and take home, or you can have them prepare it here and cook it up fresh. So that's also very sexy. Allison.
Allison the Mermaid?
Allison the Mermaid. We're at Reba Smith because there's some ingredients I need that I don't have. In particular, Mexican corn tortillas y cojilla cheese, which is the cheese they actually use in Mexico when they put cheese on their tacos. So let's see what we can get here. Then we'll go back and we'll start cooking. Oh, you could use feta instead if you want to be authentic.
I found it.
You found it?
I found the 3 kinds of cheese, like I say. You use taco cheese, first cheese from Mexican.
I think both of these will be able to do it. Not exactly, but it'll do. Corn tortillas, that's the Mexican style. They're thin.
Yeah.
This is the tortilla I want. Whereas I've seen Panamanian corn tortillas, they're really thick.
What?
Yeah,
Is
see?
it?
Fried. They're fried.
They're
Those
thick.
are tortillas?
Yeah, Panamanian tortillas though.
What do
That's
you put
why.
on them?
This is breakfast. This is for breakfast.
Well, you fry them.
You fry them, and you have two eggs and cup of coffee. This is a great.
Struggle.
Oh, I'll get it. Eventually. Hello everybody. Today we're going to be making octopus tacos. Someone requested it. I forget who exactly. I think it was Chris, if I'm not mistaken. Chef Christopher, who we'll be meeting shortly, actually. So anyhow, I digress. The thing with octopus and what scares people is, oh, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be gelatinous. Well, the gelatinousness comes from the collagen. Very high collagen content in octopus and squid. So the way you get around that is by simmering or blanching it for an extended period of time. Now, everyone's got their own way of preparing octopus. This is the way that I found. We're going to, well, the water started boiling. We're gonna throw it in the boiling water once the boiling starts. And I'm gonna bring up something that's kind of controversial amongst chefs. Some master chefs swear that adding a cork, that the enzymes interact with the cork and break down the collagen. Others say that's a bunch of horse hockey. Honestly, I've tried it, I cannot tell a difference. But for the sake of being complete, and since I have corks, we're gonna throw the cork in there while it's simmering as well. Afterwards, what we're going to do is, and I've never done this before, I usually just take it from the blanched water, chop it up, and I make my tacos. But I'm going to actually grill, if you will, on the stovetop, the octopus after it's been blanched a little bit. So that should actually char it a little bit on the outside and make it a little less collagen-like. So that is the plan. We're waiting for the water to start boiling. I just put the pot on right now. I'm also gonna throw in a little salt. Not much, just a little salt with the water boiling with the octopus. And that is the first thing that we'll do, is start the simmering of the octopus to break down that collagen. We can cut. Well, we're boiling some water. That was a challenge, just joking. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of salt, because that's just how I roll. We're gonna slide this pulpo in there. That means octopus in Spanish, by the way. I mentioned the cork. I'm gonna throw the magical cork in there. We'll see if it makes a difference in tenderizing. Oink. We're boiling the octopus with a little salt and the cork. It's gonna take about an hour. Okay, well, we're going to char the onion, the bell pepper, half a bell pepper, I might add, a whole head of garlic, and of course the habaneros. Giving them some char will give you extra flavor in the salsa. The tomato, obviously, we're not gonna char, but these veggies we are going to char. We're not in a hurry. We've got an hour waiting for the octopus to get tenderized. The nice things about wooden spoons is you could just put them like that, and it's not gonna get hot. The wood doesn't conduct heat that well. I'm gonna leave that for a while and get a good char. The more char, the more flavor. I've charred these vegetables, as you can see. We can go for more char, less char, it depends on your personal taste. And we're gonna food process this. The charred vegetables are not the only thing. We've got the 2 tomatoes, which I've just chopped up into quarters. Oh, that garlic has a nice char on it. So we'll start with this, then we'll add the avocado, the cilantro, and some seasoning. Just pureed vegetables have such a good odor to them. I'm gonna add the juice of a lime. You need that acidity. I'm going to add, this is a Big Mama avocado.
Big Mama.
Yeah, this is a hefty one. Cilantro, I like a lot of cilantro in my salsa. Again, do it to your taste. About a teaspoon of honey. So we add some sweetness to the umami.
Honey, honey.
And that ain't funny, honey. And of course, some salt. a little hot. I guess 4 habaneros will do that. I'm gonna put a little more salt because I tend to be cheap on the salt, and with good reason. I don't like things too salty. I want to taste the ingredients. I wish I had more cilantro, but it is what it is.
And that was a lot of cilantro.
Yeah, but you really want a lot of cilantro. At least I do, because that unique flavor with the vegetables and the avocado, it really goes together well. But hey, and I could taste the lime this time. Usually I'm cheap with the lime. Now I could taste the lime. So that's desired with Mexican salsas. So we've got the salsa. All we need to do now is wait for the octopus. And what I'm gonna do this time is after it's blanched, I'm gonna grill the octopus for a little bit. And then I'm gonna toast the
Tortilla.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna toast the tortillas so they're warm and then dish it up. Slice up the octopus nice, throw in the sauce, put a little of the cheese on it. And there you go. It's actually quite simple. The time-consuming part is in the octopus, getting that prepared. Because you don't want a gelatinous octopus that you have to chew on and it's slimy. You want to avoid that. So, yang.
There she goes. Damn!
Red water. So I just shut off the flame to the octopus, just a little over an hour. And I'm going to take it out. I'm going to actually pat it dry, and then I'm going to grill it a little bit in this pan. And then we'll slice it up.
Sexy. Yeah.
I'm going to use a little grapeseed oil to a hot pan, and I'm going to sear this guy after we just removed him from the hot water. And by the way, I did not cut this guy before sauteing because it'll be easier to cut the more cooked it is. What we're gonna do is toast the tortillas. Toasting, toasting, toasting. Oh, look how nice that cut.
Octopussy.
I'm just cutting into chunks so that'll make a good taco.
Chunks.
Pulp and a bump. Look how easy that cuts. And burns my hand. Okay, so now we're just gonna plate it. And I didn't do anything special here. We've got our octopus. So I'm gonna add some octopus meat to make it as octopusy as possible. You know, I couldn't resist. I had to say it at some point, right? And let me get a spoon. Time out while I look for a spoon. I'm making this very small because the Chubby Gourmet doesn't want to be any more chubby than he already is. And a little bit of quesito. No collagen. That's noticeable in the octopus. That came from boiling it, perhaps the cork helped, and then charring it afterwards. Well, I gotta say, I'm proud. The octopus actually came out excellent. A little messy, but that's how the Chubby Gourmet rolls. Success.
Yay!
Well, today was a very good success. The octopus came out perfectly. The tenderness was just right, as you can see when I was cutting it up. The way if I cut it horizontally along the tentacle, it split open nice, and of course you couldn't feel what I was feeling, but it felt like what I was expecting when I tasted it. Very tender, zero collagen, which is what you want to go for. Unless you like slimy collagen, you don't want that. So if you follow the instructions I gave you, did the cork help? Maybe yes, maybe no. But how much harm is it to put a cork in some boiling water, right? So I do it every time. I didn't think it really made much difference. I would still bet money that it didn't make much difference, if any, but a lot of top chefs swear by it. And what the hell, you know, if you have another thing going in your favor, why not do it? The salsa is very easy to make, and it is an authentic salsa. I will say the tomatoes, I used red tomatoes because it's very hard for me to find green tomatoes. Green tomatoes would go better. Also the onion, I used yellow onion. And a white onion, which is the strongest of the onions, would go better with the salsa. But that's nitpicking. You know, I mean, you know, most people, they're gonna eat something, either they like it or they don't. But I'm always picking things apart and trying to be a perfectionist. But if you really wanna be perfect, white onion instead of yellow, green tomato instead of red tomato. And believe me, it will make a difference. Is it, you know, hit or miss? Well, no, it makes a difference, but it's still very delicious as is. And there you have it. So if you like what you saw, remember to check that like box. If you want to learn more about my cooking, hit the subscribe and smash that notification bell. And until next time, hasta lasagna.